He's hilarious, man. He's open for every comedian on the show except me. All right, man. You guys, put your hands together for the very funny Bill Squire, everybody.
That's just not fair. Like, you can't have Kelsey and then Dan and be like, oh, and now it's the guy you guys don't know? I got a fucking podcast. I think Dan's gay. I think that's what that's about. Like, that out so good. Like, maybe he is. I don't know. Let's see what's up later. Anyway, my name's Bill. I was raised Mormon, and whenever people find out I was Mormon as a kid, they'd always tease me. They'd go, "Oh, Bill, you're Mormon? How many wives do you have?" And that hurt my feelings, and I start to cry and run home to my mom's. I really was Mormon. I served a Mormon mission for 2 years in the Philippines. And while I was there, I learned a language that's not very useful to me now, being from Cleveland, Ohio. It's called Tagalog. And when I read that on a piece of paper, I'm like, oh, that's a Girl Scout cookie. This place is going to be delicious. And it was, for different reasons, which I'll get to in a moment. But I was brand new in the country. I'm walking down the street one day, and this guy pulls a knife on me. It wasn't scary. He was Filipino. He was this big. It was a homemade knife. He wasn't good at his job. And I had this kind of badass moment where I grabbed the knife out of his hand, and then I threw him on the ground, and I yelled at him, and I wanted to say something intimidating like, "Get away from me, you scumbag." But I didn't know the language that well, so instead I said, "Mahal talagang mga saging na ito," which basically means, "These bananas are too expensive." I still said in a badass way. That was just the most aggressive phrase I knew at the time, you know, right there. So I did the whole Mormon mission thing to make my parents happy, and I was miserable because Mormons are strict, but when you're a missionary, extra strict. You can't watch TV, you can't listen to music, you can't go see movies, and I started to break those rules by drinking alcohol and going to strip clubs. And strip clubs in the Philippines they're really fun. The first time I go to one, it's me and 2 other missionaries that I corrupted. And we go in, and we're the only Americans in the whole place, and all the girls are trying their best to get our attention. And one girl comes out, takes off all her clothes, takes a piece of ice out of the bucket, rubbed it on her vagina, and then dropped it into my beer. Yeah. So I accidentally spilled that on purpose. Because you're not even supposed to drink the water over there. And as the night went on, there was more and more girls flirting with us, trying to do the whole like stripper thing where they're like, "Oh my God, you're so cute. Oh my God, you're so funny. Oh my God, can you bring me to America?" You guys have seen 90 Day Fiancé, you know. And I keep turning them down. I'm not interested in them. I was interested in the one that was kind of tired, and she was straight to the point. She's like, "All right, here's the deal. For 1,500 pesos, I'll take you to the back room, and you can do anything you want." 1,500 pesos at that time was like $30 American. That's a really good deal. Like, if you know anything about paying for sex, like, I mean, yeah. Like, that's like getting a Groupon, all right? But it's the back room of a Filipino strip club, so I keep turning her down because that's a sketchy place to go. And as I keep turning her down, she keeps lowering her prices and her standards until she gets to the point where she's like, "All right, if you buy me a beer, I'll go down on you right here at this table." So she's sucking my dick in front of my 2 missionary friends. And they're looking at each other like, oh my God, we had no idea that Bill was like this hardcore. Except they didn't call me Bill, they called me Elder Squire, because rules are rules. Long story short, hooked up with a whole bunch of Filipinas, got caught, was excommunicated from the Mormon church, and may or may not have between like 1 and 15 illegitimate children over there. Yeah, chances are they made some of the clothes we're wearing tonight. Oh, fuck you, they're my kids. They're gonna work. I don't have any biological, I have 3 stepkids. I'm a dad, but I have 3 stepkids that I've raised like they're my own. I take care of them, I provide for them. They don't see their biological father. Thank you, a couple people. That's it. You guys are a little slow on that though. Most of you guys are like, hey, you don't have to do that. And I don't anymore. Like I'm 20, the oldest is 25, the youngest is 21. So now like I'm still their stepdad, but now we're just like buds. I'm just like, how are you guys? Some divorced from their moms, so we just like hang out. I don't know. The youngest is 21, like I said. He's trans. He was born a girl, lives as a boy now. And I was the first person he came out to. He got this book from school. And no, what happened was he was about 12 years old and he got his hair cut real short. And after his haircut, I was like, hey man, if you want to live a certain way, all you can do is tell me and we'll make that happen. At first he's all shy. He's like, what? I don't even know what you're talking about. Then a couple days later he comes up and he's like, hey, remember what you said after I got my haircut? I was like, about you transitioning and living as a boy? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, you want to do that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. He's like, you're not mad at me? And I was like, when I met you, you were 4 years old and you walk around the house without a shirt on, with a mustache drawn on your upper lip saying, what's up everybody, my name's James, I'm a dude. So no, not mad at you. I've been waiting on you, asshole. And he is an asshole, by the way. I don't care what's going on with your front penis, vagina, you want to flip them around, I don't care. Everyone has an asshole, everyone can be an asshole, and he's an asshole. And that's why I like that he's older now, because he gets injections, and he doesn't like getting shots, and I get to give it to him, and I like stabbing him a little bit. That's like the anti-trans people don't even think about. Like if you actually just support them, you actually get to hurt them a little bit too. And there's a little compromise there. I talk about that a lot, and I've put it online, and guess what? People online think I'm a groomer. Yeah, a lot of, and I tried for a while trying to like reason with them. I'd be like, oh, gender's a spectrum. Why else would Kelsey have the deepest voice on the show so far? No, but like it is, like gender is a spectrum, like there's science behind it. You can try, like I've tried that. I've tried to like be like, hey, there's science behind transgender people. Like it's XY chromosome, XX chromosome, then XXY chromosome, and then there's this thing called the SRY gene, which basically means like, sorry, you're trans. Right? And you can present them with all that stuff, and they're just like, no. And you're like, well, why not? He's like, because I don't want to learn. I'm like, I get that, okay. Because I don't like learning things either. Like, I'm a very dumb person. Like, I didn't graduate from high school. I remember the day everybody got their scores back for the SAT. They're all talking about how well they did. They're like, hey, Bill, what'd you get on the SAT? I'm like, I got a B. They're like, how'd you get a B? I'm like, I finally applied myself. They're like, no, you get a number. I was like, oh, 85. That's a B. But yeah, people like they call like, you know, people that support trans people or drag queens, they call them all groomers. But then they ignore the people that are actually hurting kids. Like it's still church people mostly. Right? Like, But Catholics' numbers are way down, so good job, Catholics. Like, evangelicals, though, ooh, boy, sky high. And then there's also a lot of cops that get caught trying to meet up with underage kids and do like abusing kids that way. Yeah, like when we asked you to stop shooting unarmed black people, this wasn't a pivot we were hoping for. Yeah. My dad is still very conservative Mormon guy, so he hears these jokes and gets mad at me. He's also a conspiracy theorist from like before the internet. When someone just told you a fact and you're just like, no. And they're like, why not? And they're like, I have a hunch. And you know how like anybody can make a documentary now and put it on YouTube? Like homemade documentaries? He had that on VHS. Like he would order documentaries out of magazines, and that was our whole VHS collection. It was like Disney movies for the kids, and then my dad's homemade documentaries, and my friends would come over, and they'd be like, let's watch a movie. I'm like, okay, we got Aladdin or Timothy McVeigh, Misunderstood Patriot. And they're like, I already saw Aladdin, all right. Let's learn some truths. After that, you want to watch David Koresh, God's Son, Ladies' Man. Some of the younger people are going to be like, oh, I got to Wikipedia that one. My dad's also a big Second Amendment guy. He loves the Second Amendment because he wants to protect his family. He loves the idea of protecting his family when he gets to use violence. That's his favorite. He's like, I need to be able to protect you guys, so I need guns. But he doesn't want to protect us when it's just like looking out for us. Like when he found out I had allergies, he's like, I'm not raising a peanut queer. Yeah. He loves the Second Amendment. He wants the Second Amendment to protect himself against the government too. And I'm like, okay, but like you can't go toe to toe with an AR-15 with the government. You need the weapons they have. Like, it's the right to bear arms. So if we're gonna bear arms, we need to have like nuclear weapons and drones and misinformation, the stuff they use. Because the Army and the Navy, like, they're not afraid of an AR-15. Cops are. Cops are afraid of them. Remember Uvalde? They didn't want to go in there because the shooter had a AR-15. But there probably were some cops. They're like, we got to get in there. Because what if those kids are hot? Because remember, and my dad is a guy, he doesn't like swear. He's a very nice guy, he's a very religious guy. He's so, like my dad's he read the entire Twilight series to a lady, like she asked him to, he wasn't like, listen. Like he went to an old folks home and read the entire Twilight series, and we're like, that was so nice of you, why did you do that? And he's like, I didn't think she was gonna make it through 6 books. It took years. And when he got done, she's like, that's all I had to live for. And then, dumb. So he did a really nice thing, but he hated it the whole time. He uses words you're not supposed to use, because like he doesn't swear, he doesn't say fuck or shit or anything like that, but he owns a construction company and they build basements, and when they finish the basement, they spray it with tar to waterproof it, and sometimes they'll mess it up and he'll be like, oh, we retard it. Because the guys that work for him are a bunch of stupid mongoloids. End quote. You guys don't know how to feel about that one. That's a tricky one. You're like, oh, it's very pro-trans. Oh, I don't know like that. keep down that path. I have a girlfriend too. We met on Bumble. That's the dating app where women get to talk first. Yeah, I'm looking forward to my turn. She's a yapper. She's also Jewish, and I learned that they don't mind spending other people's money. All that goodwill I had just gone. She's got a 14-year-old daughter, and we were out to dinner the other day, and her daughter looks up from the menu, and she goes, "Tonight, I'm getting DP." And her mom's like, "What?" And she's like, "DP, Dr. Pepper. Give me that DP." And her mom's like, "Don't call it that." And her daughter's like, "Why? Does it mean something else?" And I'm a little stinker, so I was like, "Yeah, does it mean something else?" And now her daughter knows it does mean something else, and that her mom's never actually been to the Eiffel Tower. Some older people are gonna have to Wikipedia that one. You're gonna have better luck on Urban Dictionary. She's also her daughter's cheerleading coach, and when we first started dating, she would send me pictures all the time of her daughter and her friends cheerleading, and I was like, "Hey, stop that. I know you used to date cops." By the way, like, I want that to get out there. Like, there's I can send you links of like articles where cops are getting busted, not like it's out there, it's happening. But also don't be like, "Oh, Bill Squire said that." Bill Squire's the one. I don't need cops targeting me. Dan was talking about the Bible and me being like growing up Mormon, like we did Bible stuff. And like the one thing they never talk about, the sin that like seems to never get talked about now, the one that Jesus railed about the most was greed. What did he say about greed? He's like, it'd be easier for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. And then Joel Osteen, like he's never been like, "Yeah, what have I been doing?" Like greed is really bad if you're a Christian. If you're me, I'm selling stickers after the show. There's a sign in Ohio, it's a billboard that says "Hell is real," and the H is like a big red H, and I have stickers and magnets that say "Bill is real." And that's also my website, billisreal.com, not Bill Israel. And then this one's just dumb. It just says, "Dance like you found out you're not the father." I'll be selling those after the show. You can pay whatever you want for them. I can take cash or credit or Venmo or Cash App if you're black. I'm out there doing the research, guys, and it seems to be a lot of black people use Cash App. People get mad about like, Bill, don't make jokes about black people. You think you make jokes about black people? You think it's because you got black friends? Like, no. But I do have fat white daughters, so I spend a lot of time with black people. I'm fine with it. Why are you guys being weird? All right, thank you guys. I gotta wrap this up, but hold on, not yet. Just say this here. I have specials on YouTube as well, and I got a new one coming out later this year. I don't know when it's gonna come out, so follow me on social media at Bill Squire. I'll let you know when it comes out. I am very happy in my relationship right now, and I think it's because I've been going to therapy. Ladies, you love when a guy goes to therapy, right? Yeah. Women love when a guy goes to therapy because we learn to get in touch with our emotions, we learn how to be vulnerable, we learn how to express those things to women, and then women love that because then they can use it as ammunition against us when you're you're mad. It's just like you pull out a gun and just like, you're right, your mom does feel like a failure for how you turned out. And your friends only do hang out with you because you buy them drinks. And that thing I do with my finger does make you gay.